trapped inside a 75-foot industrial bread oven, still smoldering at 100 degrees Celsius. Two workers enter a narrow metal tunnel, attempting to repair a broken conveyor system. They carry walkie-talkies to stay in touch with colleagues outside. But within minutes, communication goes silent. The oven's thick metal walls act as a cage, blocking the signal. The extreme heat fries their electronics. Inside the suffocating darkness, they begin to lose consciousness. Their core body temperatures soar past 40 degrees. Their hearts race frantically. Circulation fails. On May 16, 1998, David Mays, 47, and Ian Erickson, 43, suffered one of the most horrific workplace deaths imaginable. They didn't die from a random accident. They died because of a management decision that prioritized production over human life. An 8-hour cooling protocol was slashed to just 2 hours. Communication failed. Coordination was non-existent. And 2 men were burned alive inside an oven they should never have entered. Harvestime Bakeries, located at 480 Thurmaston Boulevard, Leicester, England. A massive industrial facility operating 24/7 to meet the demands of national supermarkets. This wasn't a small corner bakery. It was a mega factory with giant ovens processing thousands of loaves daily via automated conveyor belts. The Leicester plant had a history of management issues. According to court findings, the facility was acquired in poor operational condition, low production standards, weak management, and a fragile safety culture. Despite efforts to improve standards through safety training, the pressure to keep the massive ovens running often clashed with the need for long maintenance downtimes. On May 16, 1998, that pressure would prove fatal. The site of the tragedy was a massive structure known as Oven B. It spanned 75 feet, nearly the length of a standard basketball court. It featured a metal grid conveyor system and an operating temperature between 200 to 250 degrees Celsius. Standard safety protocols required at least 8 hours of cooling before any human was allowed inside. These ovens are built with enormous thermal mass, thick layers of refractory brick, and heavy metal insulation designed to maintain stable internal temperatures. This is what makes them so dangerous. Even after being turned off, they retain heat for a very long time. It acts like a giant furnace that refuses to cool. The temperature doesn't drop linearly. Latent heat stays trapped in the internal materials and radiates for hours. But on May 16, 1998, this fundamental safety rule was fatally ignored. Saturday morning, May 16, 1998. A metal grid component on the conveyor belt came loose inside Oven B. It was a common mechanical issue, but it required immediate intervention. If left alone, the loose part could jam the system, causing permanent and expensive damage. Dennis Masters, the chief engineer on site, faced a crucial choice. Call in a specialist team, which would cost time and money, or perform an in-house fix with existing staff. He chose the latter. It was a decision that would kill 2 men. Masters assigned the task to David Mays, a boilerman employed by Faraday Bakeries, and Ian Erickson, a maintenance engineer from Harvestime Bakeries. Both were experienced professionals, yet nothing could prepare them for what lay inside. The safety protocol was clear. The oven must be shut down and cooled for at least 8 hours. This wasn't a recommendation. It was an absolute safety requirement to ensure the air and metal surfaces were safe for human contact. However, the pressure to resume production won. The oven was given only 2 hours to cool, just a quarter of the required time. This decision ignored a basic physical fact. An insulated oven will not cool in 2 hours. The heat was still trapped in the bricks and steel. The environment was still lethal. Production had to go on. Targets had to be met. Financial losses had to be minimized. And so, David Mays and Ian Erickson were sent in. The 2 workers entered Oven B through the conveyor opening, a narrow 75-foot tunnel of metal and brick. They took walkie-talkies to communicate, but they were walking into a trap. The first problem, the actual temperature. At the time of entry, the air inside was estimated to be around 100 degrees Celsius, the boiling point of water. This is far beyond the limit of human hypothermia. For context, the hottest saunas humans can tolerate are around 70 to 80 degrees, and only for very short bursts. 100 degrees is unsurvivable. The second problem, communication failure. The oven's thick metal interior acted as a Faraday cage, blocking electromagnetic waves. The walkie-talkie signals couldn't penetrate the walls. Combined with the extreme heat destroying the device's electronics, they were cut off within minutes. David and Ian were totally isolated. No way to call for help. No way to signal they were in danger. At 100 degrees Celsius, the human body fails rapidly. They were hit by 3 modes of heat transfer. Convection, scorching air transferring heat directly to the skin. Radiation, the walls, still holding massive energy, released infrared waves that cooked body tissue deep down. And conduction, physical contact with the metal belt or walls, caused instant contact burns. Within minutes, their core temperatures hit the heat stroke threshold. They likely experienced disorientation, extreme fatigue, and then a loss of consciousness. Once down in a 75-foot tunnel with no ventilation, there was no escape. Their hearts struggled to pump blood to the skin to cool down. A futile effort. Eventually, their systems gave out. The investigation also revealed a more gruesome detail. One victim was reportedly trapped by the conveyor machinery. This points to a failure in mechanical energy isolation. If the belt moved, even slightly, while they were inside, the narrow gap between the belt and the structure became a lethal pinch point. One victim was eventually pulled out but died shortly after from massive heat-related injuries. The other died inside the oven from burns and circulatory failure. The investigation by the Health and Safety Executive and Leicestershire Police uncovered a horrific systemic failure. The most significant breach was the total absence of a formal risk assessment, either written or verbal, before the task began. Management failed to accurately measure the internal temperature before entry. More shockingly, the investigation found that this failure reached the very top of the corporate ladder. At Harvestime, safety was treated as an administrative inconvenience rather than an operational priority. The trial, which concluded in July 2001 at Leicester Crown Court, resulted in record-breaking fines for the time. Faraday Bakeries Limited and Harvestime Ltd were fined a total of £350,000. John Bridson, fined $20,000. Dennis Masters, fined $2,000. Brian Jones, fined $1,000. While the fines were later adjusted after appeals, the case set a powerful legal precedent. It was one of the first times company directors were held personally accountable for safety failures leading to death. Following the Harvestime tragedy, the HSE launched a national initiative called Recipe for Safety. This was a partnership between the food manufacturing industry, unions, and regulators to slash injury and death rates in the sector. International standards also shifted. In the US, OSHA established stricter protocols for the annual inspection of bakery ovens. These changes are the direct, albeit tragic, legacy of David Mays and Ian Erickson. Harvestime Bakeries still exist today, though under different names and ownership. The ovens are still running, the bread is still being made, and somewhere in that facility, Oven B may still stand. A silent witness to the day 2 men went in to fix a machine and never came out alive.